Good morning. Class A rents climb higher, even as occupancy trails lower tier apartments. So the U.S. multifamily market continues to defy expectations in late 25, and nowhere is this more obvious than in the performance gap between Class A and lower tier units. Despite historic levels of new apartment supply hitting the market, Class A rents continue to rise, even as occupancy now trails Class B and C class communities for the first time in years. So Class A holds strong as new supply floods the market. And developers have delivered more luxury units in the past 36 months than during any other 3 year period in US history. And that surge has undeniably softened fundamentals. Yet tenant demand for high end product remains remarkably strong, is the takeaway. And in October of 2025, Class A occupancy was 94.6%, whereas Class B and C occupancy is a little higher at 95. While slightly below their historical averages, lower tier apartments are now leading in pure occupancy for the first time since 2019. And rent growth tells a very different story. So nationwide, effective asking rents fell 0.7% year over year, which is the sharpest drop in more than 4 years. But this decline is overwhelmingly concentrated in older inventory. It may be the reason why people are higher occupancy in the lower class units. Class C rents declined 3.2% year over year, and Class B rents just down 0.6%. Whereas Class A rents are climbing 1.4% year over year, marking 55 consecutive months of rent increases. So even with supply pressure, Class A continues to outperform due to higher income renter demand, strong lease up velocity in new builds, and amenity driven value retention. There's been a lot of migration to Sunbelt cities is also part of it. In short, renters are still willing to pay for quality, even when cheaper options exist, so they're willing to pay a premium. Now, how the rents stack up in October of 2025? Well, the pricing spread between luxury and workforce housing remains one of the most important investor indicators. So let's look at some asset classes and their average monthly rent. In Class A is about 2370, Class B about 1818, and Class C is about 1521. So that's $560 Class A, Class B rent gap. And that underscores both affordability challenge and persistent demand for premium space. So, as an investor, here's the takeaway that you want to most pay attention to. Even as occupancy in Class A dips below that of Class B and C, premium pricing power remains firmly intact. So, what this means is for investors, Class A resilience is real, and rent growth continues despite the supply pressure. While Class B and C softness may offer value add entry points, which is something to consider, but luxury lease ups are proving more durable than expected. And Sunbelt and high growth metros continue to outperform. And with 55 straight months of Class A rent growth, the high end remains the most reliable revenue driver in an otherwise mixed apartment market these days. That, my friends, is it for the day. Visit HoustonRealEstateBrokerage.com for some more information. Have a good one.